Then we discussed on the Middle East. The meeting was very short, but these two issues, together with a third one, Venezuela, kept the ministers very busy. On the Middle East, we discussed of the ongoing intensified hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah across the Lebanese border and in Beirut itself, and the situation in Gaza and the West Bank. There is no more words to describe the situation in Gaza. There is no more words. The catastrophe continues. And the escalation in Lebanon is extremely dangerous and worrying. I was in Lebanon some days before, just before the explosion of these electronic devices has been creating terror among the Lebanese population. The escalation is extremely dangerous and worrying. I can say that we are almost in a full-fledged war. We're seeing more military strikes, more damage, more collateral damage, more victims. Since Tuesday, in Lebanon, 500 people has been killed, and over 4,400 people have been injured. Among them, a high number of children and women. And what do we see through the TV screens? We see thousands of people escaping to the north, provoking big jams on the transport system, escaping because they had been warned that the attacks will continue and the bombing too. I was some days ago on the border between Lebanon and Israel, visiting the UNIFIL troops with a certain high-level degree of risk, and I learned from them how things are going, the intensity of the fighting, of the bombing, both sides. Each one has its own responsibility, but now we are seeing how civilians in Lebanon are paying an intolerable, unacceptable price. When in some days we talk about 500 people killed and 4,400 people injured, this is something that escapes any kind of consideration about the civilian casualties. And it's again the Geneva Convention to make explosive at distance without taking any consideration for the environment where these explosives are exploding. Either in a queue in a commercial center, on a public square, on a street, on a hospital, whatever. These are targeted and at the same time random attacks. Targeted because of the purpose and random because of the consequences. I condemn, I continue condemning it. The civilians are paying a high price in almost a full-blown war, which must be averted, including by renewing intense diplomatic mediation efforts. And here in New York is the moment to do that. Everybody has to put all their capacity to stop this path to war. 2 weeks ago I said I was in the South Lebanon, and despite the warning signal, I think we are still hoping and working to stop this escalation. But the worst scenario, I have to say it, is materializing. The worst expectations are becoming reality. And we need peace in the Middle East, because the ongoing escalation is a danger for the whole region. And the path towards peace starts with a single step: ceasefire in Gaza. Ceasefire in Gaza and the implementation of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1701, which was adopted in 2006. My God, almost 20 years ago. Almost 20 years ago, I am still asking for the implementation of this resolution. You understand why the Secretary General of the United Nations have said this day that the Security Council is losing legitimacy? Because either they don't agree on anything, or when they agree, it's not implemented. This is a serious concern for the international community, and these are the words of the United Nations Secretary General. the multilateral system's grip, and this United Nations General Assembly who's taking the political lead because the Security Council is unable to take decisions. And when they take decisions, almost 20 years ago, we are still asking for its implementation. The resolution calls for a full cessation of hostility between Israel and Hezbollah and the withdrawal of both to the delimitation line. Well, we need to continue asking for this immediate ceasefire across the blue line, as well as the situation in Gaza. They are not different. They are interlinked. They are strongly interlinked. What's happening in Gaza is triggering other war scenarios in Lebanon, in the Red Sea, and unhappily, and we don't talk enough about it, on the West Bank. The West Bank, which is called openly Judea and Samaria by the Israeli authorities, as if it was already being annexed. Certainly a ceasefire in Gaza is the only way to facilitate the escalation of the whole region. Not reached yet. It was a Biden plan, presented I don't know how many weeks ago, and by the way, presented as a plan coming from the Israeli side. Well, it's still not there. And yesterday we had an important dinner to discuss about the prospects of the peace in the Middle East, and someone said, and I think he is right, they start discussing about the political solution. Don't wait for the ceasefire, because the ceasefire maybe will not come, never, ever. So don't wait for that. Start discussing about the political solution, because you have been waiting for too long about the ceasefire. But I think it's our collective responsibility to continue asking for the international law, humanitarian law, engage with all parties, and to keep pushing them to the negotiation table. And that's what the foreign ministers will do, all of them in a coordinated manner in their outreach to partners this week.